Here's instructions on how to get started with signing up for the Walk for Sight. If you are using low vision, you're certainly going to want to use all of your tools such as magnification, increasing text size, bolding text, inverting colors, and all those great features that come on your device. And if you're using a screen reader on your device such as VoiceOver or TalkBack, then this will include how to get started using those devices as well. To get started, you want to touch about a ½ inch down from the top left.
Select registrations, heading level 1, banner, landmark.
Okay, select registration, heading. This is just a sign of where we are, so we know we're in the right place. Let's move ahead or advance down the information. You're going to flick to the right.
A fundraising page will be created for each registrant. Be on the lookout for a follow-up email from us containing details on how to manage your fundraising page. And banner.
Okay, it tells you that a fundraising page will be created for each participant, and you'll get an email, updating on how to manage your page. All right, flick to the right again.
Adult walker, heading level 2.
This is just telling us we're in the adult walker area. Let's flick to the right with one finger using VoiceOver or TalkBack.
$20/AR.
Okay, $20. Flick to the right.
We encourage you to leverage your participation in the Walk for Sight by helping us fundraise. You can do so as an individual or with a team. Details on your fundraising page will be emailed to you after you register. Top fundraisers will win pizza delivery.
That's pretty good. Once you're signed up, you're going to want to start fundraising. This is a fundraiser after all, so we really encourage you to find others to support you. Let's flick to the right again.
Decrease adult walker count, dimmed, button.
All right, here's where we see three things. Decrease, I'm going to flick to the right.
0.
0.
Increase adult walker count, button.
And increase. So this is where you add yourself. If you want to be an adult walker, you would hit increase. Then 0 would change to 1. I'll do this. I'm going to add myself as an adult.
Increase 1.
That 0 now turned to 1. Let's flick left.
1.
See, it turned to 1. Flick left again.
Decrease adult walker count, button.
Maybe I changed my mind. Oops, I meant to add a youth or a senior. So I'm going to decrease myself out of there by double tapping with VoiceOver or TalkBack.
Decrease 0.
And then it turned to 0. Let's just see what other types of walkers there are before we start filling this out. Let's flick to the right again.
0. Increase adult walker count, button. Youth walker, heading level 2.
Okay, there's youth walker. As a heading, this is the information about youth walker. So you can look down or flick to the right if you're using VoiceOver or TalkBack.
$15/AR.
$15.
Decrease youth walker count, dimmed,
There's
button.
decrease
0.
0.
Increase youth walker count,
Okay,
button.
so if you were increasing a youth, you'd put it in there. Flick to the right again.
Senior walker, heading level 2.
And we have senior walkers.
$15/AR.
Let's flick to the right again.
Decrease senior walker count, dimmed,
And
button.
I'm just continuing to flick to the right. You have the decrease.
0.
0.
Increase senior walker count,
Okay.
button.
So those are your choices, adult, youth, or senior. So I'm going to flick to the left until I reach the adult.
Adult walker,
Okay, there's
heading
the
level
adult
2.
walker. Adult walker. Let's flick to the right and add myself in by increasing.
$20/AR. We encourage you to leverage. Decrease adult walker count, 0. Increase adult walker count, button.
Okay, there's the increase. I want to add myself and increase, so I'm going to double tap with one finger. If you have low vision, you just tap on that. If you're using VoiceOver or TalkBack, you're going to double tap with one finger, and it's kind of like a dit, that speed, right? So I'm going to double tap.
Increase 1.
All right, so I've added myself in. So now I'm just going to flick to the right a bunch past all of this adult, youth, and senior information. Okay, let's see what's after it.
Add a promo code on the next step.
Let's flick to the right.
Total,
Total.
$20. And
So
main.
it's telling me my total for what I signed up for is $20. Flick to the right.
Click to proceed with ticket completion. Attendee information on next page. Button. Navigation. Landmark.
Okay, that's what we want. We want to click to proceed. So you want that, you would tap on it with low vision, or if you're using VoiceOver or TalkBack, double tap with one finger. So I'm always going to start by, especially using VoiceOver or TalkBack, we want to touch that top left area of the screen about a ½ inch down.
Complete registrations. Heading level 1.
There's the
Banner.
heading.
Landmark.
All right, complete registration. It's a heading, so we know we're in the right area. Flick to the right to advance.
1 of 1. And banner.
And that flick, by the way, is just a little short gesture, like you're shushing a little crumb out of the way. That little flick from left to right.
Adult walker, heading level 2.
Okay, keep going.
Attendee 1, heading level 2.
Here's attendee 1, keep going.
Provide the attendee's information, heading level 3. First name.
Okay, here's where we're in a little bit of a pattern. So we're going to get the field that it wants, so first name. Then we're going to have star, and then we're going to have the actual field that we would edit and add our information to. So first name, flick to the right.
Star.
Star, it's required, flick to the right.
First name star, text field, first name, required. Invalid data. Double tap to edit. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
I have to double tap to edit. That means to bring up the keyboard and make sure the information is going to be entered and associated with first name. And why it says invalid data is because I have nothing typed in there yet. So we have to double tap, tap with low vision or double tap with voiceover or talkback to enter into that information.
Insertion point at end.
Okay, so now I'm in there. I know I'm in there. You wanted that affirmation. And I could dictate or I could type it. So you could start to type it and it might auto-populate. Or you could just dictate it, and I will dictate. So your dictate button might be in different places depending on which device you have. All right, some devices where the space bar is, you flick once to the left and the dictation button will be there. Sometimes the dictation button will be in the lower right corner. Sometimes the dictation button might be above the keyboard, slightly like above the letter O in that area, okay? So I'm going to press my dictation button. I'm going to hear the tone, wait for the tone so you don't get clipped off. Then say what you need to say, and then I'm going to do a 2-finger double tap to end my dictation.
Dictate. Double tap to start dictation. Double tap with 2 fingers when finished.
Stephanie.
Inserted Stephanie.
All right, easy enough, right? So next I'm going to touch near the top again.
Star. First name star. Text field. Is editing. Stephanie. Required. Insertion point at end.
It's in there, so I'm going to flick to the right.
Last name. Star.
And I'm flicking to the right. So I need to double tap to make sure my information is put in the proper place.
Insertion point at end.
I'm going to dictate.
Dictate. Double tap to start dictation. Double tap with 2 fingers when finished.
Smith.
Inserted Smith.
I'm going to touch again near the top.
Star. First name star. Stephanie. Text field.
Okay.
Required.
I'm going to flick to the right.
Last name. Star. Last name star. Text field. Is editing. Smith. Required.
Okay.
Insertion.
That's in there correctly. I'm going to keep flicking to the right.
Email. Star.
Flick
Aircraft.
to the right.
Email star. Email. Text field. Required. Invalid data. Double tap to edit. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
Okay, I'm going to double tap here.
Insertion point at end.
So I'm going to type in my email. Now let's touch near the top again.
Email.
Flick to the right.
Additional questions. Heading level 2.
Okay, flick to the right.
Event waiver.
Here's an event waiver. Let's flick to the right.
Star. In consideration of me and / or my minor child being permitted to participate in the Walk for Sight, by checking this box, I hereby authorize Future Insight to photograph, film me, and / or use my story, and consent to the use of my likeness or written material in any and all publications, educational materials, research, advertising, news media, video, and web materials. I acknowledge that since my participation in any publications is voluntary, I will receive no financial compensation. I understand and agree that such materials, including all negatives, positives, and prints shall become and remain the sole property of Future Insight, and I shall have no right or title to such items. I further understand and agree that these materials may be kept on file and / or used by Future Insight for potential future uses, and further agree to release the Future Insight from any and all liability arising from or in connection with the taking, use, publication, or dissemination of such materials. If I do not wish to be photographed, I agree to shut off my camera during virtual events, activities, meetings, and workshops. For in-person events, activities, meetings, and workshops, I agree to alert the person checking me in on-site so they can outfit me with a no photos indicator. I will be responsible for wearing this indicator and will avoid posing for photos.
Okay, I thought it was important to let you hear that. So we flick to the right.
I accept the waiver agreement. Checkbox. Unchecked.
So it's a checkbox. So if you have some vision, you would just tap on it. If you're using voiceover or talkback, you're going to double tap on it. And it's a toggle. Each time you double tap, it would check it, uncheck it, uncheck it, etc. So I'm just going to double tap to check it.
Checked.
Okay, and it confirms that it's checked. Let's flick to the right again.
Event waiver.
And here's another event waiver. Let's flick to the right and listen.
Star. In consideration of me and slash or my minor child being permitted to participate in the walk for sight, by checking this box, I hereby for myself, my heirs and personal representatives assume all risks that might be associated with the event. I further waive, release, and discharge any claim against sponsoring agencies, companies, staff, volunteers, or other representatives or their successors for any injuries or damages to my person and slash or my minor child or property while a participant in this event. This waiver also applies to on or off the premises at any time during the event.
All right, we have to acknowledge that. Let's flick to the right.
I accept the waiver agreement. Checkbox. Unchecked.
Again, it's a
Double
toggle,
tap to toggle
so
setting.
we just double tap on that.
Checked.
Then we flick to the right again.
Add promo code. Visited. Link.
So we're going to flick to the right again.
Total.
There's the total.
$20. And main.
Flick to the right again.
Click to reset ticket selection and return to select tickets page. Button.
Okay, I
Navigation.
could go back
Landmark.
to the ticket page, but I'm going to flick to the right again.
Click to proceed to add a donation page to make optional add-on donation. Button. And navigation. And checkout receipt. Complimentary.
Here's what we need to continue the process of signing up. So we're going to double tap here if you're using VoiceOver or TalkBack. Otherwise, with Vision, you would just tap on it. So I'm going to make sure I don't miss anything. Again, touch about a ½ inch down from the top left and touch the screen with one finger.
Add a donation. Heading level 1. Banner.
And
Landmark.
there's the heading level 1. So we can flick to the right, flick to the right again, flick to the right again. Again.
$50. Checkbox. Radio button. Unchecked.
So they give us some preset amounts we could just double tap on to donate. Flick to the right again.
$100.
Flick to the right again.
$500.
Okay, keep going to the right.
$1,000. Other. Checkbox.
Other.
Radio button.
That's
Unchecked.
a good one because, you know, we value and appreciate any amount you have, whether it's, you know, over $1,000 or whether it's $5, $10, $20. So let's flick to the right again.
I'd like to cover the fees associated with my donation so more of my donation goes directly to Future Insight. Checkbox. Checked.
Okay,
Double tap to toggle
so
setting.
that's important to make sure it's checked because it does cost $20 for an adult and $15 for a youth or senior to, you know, sign up for the walk. And we have to make sure the fees, it's just the processing fees for your card to be processed. You don't want it to take away from that $20 or $15. So make sure that is checked, which it is. If not, you would double tap there with a VoiceOver or TalkBack. Flick to the right again.
Skip donation. Link.
So I'm going to double tap on skip donation. Here's where it's going to ask for more information from us. You know, we're getting close to that checkout, so I don't want to have to miss any information again. I don't want to miss out, so I'm going to start top left about a ½ inch down.
Checkout. Heading level 1.
I touch the screen, so I know I'm in the checkout area. Flick to the right to move down this information.
Your info. Heading level 2.
Okay, it's a heading. It's my info I'm going to be entering into. Flick to the right again.
First name.
So here's again where we hear the first name, but there's nothing to do there. Flick to the right.
Star.
Okay, flick to the right again.
First name star. Text field. Required. Invalid data. Double tap to edit. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
This is what we really want to do. We want to enter our first name here. So double tap to bring up the keyboard to associate it with the first name.
Insertion point at end.
And I'm just going to dictate my first name.
Dictate. Double tap to start dictation. Double tap with 2 fingers when finished.
Stephanie.
Inserted Stephanie.
Okay, then touch near the top
Last name.
and flick to the right.
Star. Last name star. Text field. Required. Invalid data. Double tap to edit.
Okay,
Use
I
the
have
rotor
to double
access
tap
misspelled
here where
words.
it says, you know, the hint, double tap to edit.
Insertion point at end.
And that's double tapping with one finger with VoiceOver or TalkBack. Or if you are using your Vision, you would just tap on that field. Okay, I'm going to dictate my last name.
Dictate.
Smith.
Inserted Smith.
Okay, touch up near the top again.
Last name star. Text field. Is editing. Smith. Required. Insertion point at end.
Flick to the right.
Email. Star.
Flick to the right again.
Email star. Email address. Text field. Required.
Okay, here's
Invalid data.
where we want to double tap to make sure our email goes to the proper area.
Insertion point at end.
So this is, you know, a funny field again. You know, if you dictate it, it might come out wrong because emails can be kind of silly. I would start to type it and see if it auto-populates. Again, above that keyboard, it might auto-populate. All right, I'm going to touch near the top.
This is where your receipt and registration will be set. Star. Email star. Text field. Is editing. Smith@gmail.com. Required. Insertion point at end.
I'm going to flick to the
Use
right
rotor to
again.
access this is where your receipt and registration will be sent.
Okay, and it tells me that's where my receipt and registration will be sent. So good to know to check afterward. And by the way, a little hint, if it doesn't show up in your inbox, remember, check your junk mail, right? Because it might go in there. Yeah, let's flick to the right again.
Payment details. Heading level 2.
All right, a new field. We're heading. We're into payment details heading. So that's another sign in the department store, so to speak, that we are now entering payment details. All right, so we'll flick to the right again.
Credit or debit card number. Card number. Text field. Double tap to edit.
All right, and it goes right into it. Credit or debit card number, and it says double tap to edit. So you tap on this with your vision or double tap with VoiceOver or TalkBack to bring the keyboard up to enter that information.
Insertion point at end.
Okay, and I'm going to just enter my the card number. Okay, I'm going to flick to the right again.
Insert credit or debit card expiration date. MM/YY. Text field. Double tap to edit.
Okay,
Use the ruler to access misspelled words.
It wants my expiration date, month and year, so I'm going to double tap on that with VoiceOver or TalkBack. Otherwise, you would just tap on it.
Insertion point at end.
And
0, 0, 6, 6
and the year.
2, 2, 9.
I do want to make sure it entered appropriately before I move on because I'd like to have that validation. So I'm going to flick to the left to go, if you're using VoiceOver or TalkBack, flick to the left with one finger and it will bring you to previous, go up and read previous information. So let's do that. I want to make sure it's correct.
Credit or debit card expiration date 06/29. Text field.
Yep, let's flick to the right.
Credit or debit card CVC/CVV. Text field is editing. CVC. Insertion point at start.
So if you hear is editing, you're in the correct field. If it says double tap to edit, I have hints on. So you might want to make sure hints are on with your iPhone or your Android phone. So I'm going to enter my CVV number.
5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Okay. I'm going to touch near the top.
Payment details. Credit or debit card. Credit or debit card. Credit or debit card CVC/CVV. Text field is editing. 555.
And I like to make sure it's correct because I don't want to redo it. So flick to the right.
Name on the card.
Okay, now we're entering into the information on my card.
Star.
Name on my card.
Ratio. First name star. First name. Text field. Required. Invalid. Insertion point at end.
I have to enter my first name, so I'm going to dictate it.
Dictate.
Stephanie.
Inserted Stephanie.
And I'm going to touch near the top.
Name on the card. Star.
Flick to the right.
First name star. Text field is editing. Stephanie. Required. Insert. Last name star. Insertion point at end.
So last name, I'm going to dictate it.
Dictate.
Smith.
Inserted Smith.
Okay, I'm going to touch near the top.
Billing address line 1. First name star. Last name. Billing address line 1.
Okay. Billing address line 1. I didn't hear anything associated with, editing, so I'm going to flick to the right.
Star.
Again.
Billing address line 1 star. Address line 1. Text field. Required. Invalid data.
Double tap to edit. So if you are using your vision, you tap on it. If you're using VoiceOver or TalkBack, that's why you're going to double tap it.
Insertion point at end.
Okay, address line 1. Here's an example where you could start entering your address, and it may autofill that as well. If you check right above your keyboard, it might give you the option to autofill. But I'm going to just enter my address. I will dictate it, I think.
Dictate. Double tap to start dictation. Double tap with 2 fingers when finished.
Puppy Dog Lane.
Inserted Puppy Dog Lane.
Okay, I'm going to touch near the top.
Billing address line 1.
And flick to the right.
Star.
Again.
Billing address line 1 star. Text field is editing. Puppy Dog Lane. Required. Insertion point at end. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
Again, it's always good to make sure you hear it again to make sure it's in there correctly because it is painful to have to go back if something's not accurate. Flick to the right again.
Add another address line.
If you have an apartment number, a unit number, that sort of thing, you'd double tap here and enter that information on a separate line.
Country.
Country. Flick to the right.
Star. Aircraft.
Here's a good example. It said star aircraft. You may hear some pretty weird things when you use a screen reader, and that's one of them. It has nothing to do with, there's nothing there, but you might hear some funny words, and that that's just star saying it's required. So just use your common sense and, intuition. Flick to the right again.
Country star. United States. Pop-up button. List box pop-up.
Okay.
Required. Double tap to activate the picker.
So it's a picker, but it gave me a freebie. It already says United States, so I don't have to change that. If you had to change it, you would double tap, and then you're going to flick and make the change to a different country. But I get to leave that there, and I'm going to flick to the right with one finger using voiceover or talkback.
City.
City, flick to the right.
Star.
It's required.
Aircraft.
Yep, it's required. Flick to the right.
City star. City. Text field. Required. Invalid data. Double tap to edit. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
I'm going to double tap here to enter my city.
Insertion point at end.
Okay, and because it's not auto-populated from earlier at all, I'm going to, I will dictate my city.
Dictate. Double tap to start dictation. Double tap with 2 fingers when finished.
Golden doodle.
Insert a golden doodle.
Okay, I'm going to start near the top.
Star.
Flick
Aircraft.
to the right.
City star. Text field. Is editing. Golden doodle. Required.
Okay.
Insertion point at end. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
Yeah, I'm going to flick to the right.
State.
Now, here's a funny thing coming up. It says state. There's nothing associated with it yet, so I flick to the right.
Star.
Okay, star meaning it's required, but listen to this.
Country star. Please select. Pop-up button. List box pop-up. Required.
It said
Double tap
country.
to activate the picker.
It said country, but we already know we entered our country earlier, and this really is asking for state. So it's just it's an error there, but it does want our state. So we have to tap with vision or double tap with voiceover or talkback. So I'm going to double tap with one finger.
Country star. Please select. Dimmed. Button.
And I have to flick to the right to find New Hampshire or your state, wherever you are.
Alabama.
And I'm going to keep going till I get to New Hampshire. So I'm going to go pretty fast till I get closer. Flicking to the right with one finger using voiceover or talkback.
Alaska. Arizona. Cal. Del. India. Minnesota.
I'll slow down now.
Mississippi. Missouri. Montana. Nebraska. Nevada. New Hampshire. Button.
Okay. There's New Hampshire. I want that, so I'm going to double tap.
Country star. New Hampshire. Pop-up button.
And
list box pop-up. Required.
It told me it was inserted, so I'm just going to flick to the right because it already gave me that affirmation. I'm going to flick to the right.
Zip.
Zip code. Flick to the right.
Star.
Flick to the right again.
Zip star. Zip. Text field. Required. Double tap to edit. Use the rotor to access misspelled words. Insertion point at end.
I double tapped with one finger, and I'm going to type in my zip code.
Numbers. Letters. 0, 0, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6.
Okay. Start touch near the top.
Zip star. Text field. Is editing. 09876. Required. Word mode. Insertion point at end.
And
Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
flick to the right.
Total.
There's my total.
$20. And. Main.
And flick to the right.
By clicking purchase, I agree to the checkout receipt. Complimentary. Landmark.
Okay. By clicking purchase, that's my agreement right there. Flick to the right.
Terms of service. Link. And. Privacy policy. Link. Click to return to add a donation page to make optional add-on donation. Button. Navigation. Landmark.
Okay, I'm flicking to the right. It's just allowing me to go back if I want to add a donation.
Click to complete registration process. Button. End. Navigation. End. Checkout receipt. Complimentary.
Okay, here's where I would click to proceed to checkout to be done.
Your order has been processed. Check your email for your confirmation receipt and instructions for how to set up your personal fundraising page. Good luck. Charged amount. $20.
Okay, this is your receipt here. You'll get an email, but you can also take a screenshot. And that way, if you're not sure if you ever receive your
button.
If you're not sure if you receive your email, you will have that handy. So thank you for joining and happy signing up and walking for Future in Sight.